Greetings out there in YouTube land. This is Morris Man. As always, I thank you guys for coming to my channel. I'm going to do, I guess, an update of a video I did maybe 2 weeks ago about Big Cat. It's one of the cats that hang around my house. And that particular cat, out of all the cats that out there, he's been the nearest and dearest to my heart. For several reasons. First, his demeanor. He's one of the kindest, sweetest cats I've ever ran across. You know, the only thing he wants for the most part is affection. Because I put food out there and he'll run right past the food plate sometimes just to get, his little head rubbed. And I'll rub him and play with him. Very gentle cat. And I told you, I believe that someone attempted to poison him. And I don't think he was being singled out because the other cat, he's also a Big Cat. He's a female cat I'm speaking of now. Is a male. Apparently he got a hold to some of the poison too, because he was the first one I noticed that was dry heaving, and he's lost a lot of weight now. I just fed him about an hour ago. And the Big Cat, Big Cat, he apparently got more than the other cat, because I distinguish the two by calling the female Big Cat, because she's the original. Then I call him Big Black because he's black and he has green eyes. Very pretty cat, both of them. So apparently he got more than Big Cat, the female. So when I seen him, he could barely, well, first of all, I seen him, he had mucus coming out of his mouth. So I'm like, oh my goodness, he got into that poison too. And then it went a step further, because apparently Big Cat, the female, is recovering, even though she lost some weight. But the Big Black Cat, unfortunately, his condition progressed and got worse, because the second time I seen him after I noticed he got poisoned, he could barely walk. It was like his central nervous system is shutting down, because he could barely walk. So I said to myself, I'm going to try to save his life. I mean, none of them deserve to be just tossed out of the street. I mean, some of them are born there from their parents, and that's their offspring. But it's obvious to me that Big Cat and Big Black was domesticated at some point in time, and somebody, for some reason, had to, send him outside, put him outside. So I took him to the veterinarian, and I told him what I believe what happened to him. And he said, he did some tests. He said, yeah, you're right. He said, so what I'm going to have to do is flush his kidneys and his liver, and for the next several days, give him some antibiotics and inflammatory medication. And the lady told me, be sure to try to keep him in. I said, well, I try my best. And I initially asked my neighbor across the alley, because he was good at placing the cats. He placed Cotton's kid, with the understanding that he was going to take them all, Cotton too, but he said Cotton's too old. So I was very appreciative that he at least got rid of the kittens. But, I was hoping to get rid of all of them and say goodbye to Cotton, because I've been trying to get rid of Cotton for 2 years, and ain't nobody taking her. She's one of the laziest, selfish kids I ever met. But I got a soft spot on her for animals, and I try my best to take care of them. So, with the veterinarian visit, and he was very accommodating, because I tried to take Cotton there. I'm going to have to leash her and muzzle her, because she and keep from getting scratched, because she just for some reason is super antisocial. So, every time the bell rings, she go hide for 2 hours. I'm like, you've been here for 2 years. You see humans every day. So what's with this running and hiding stuff? So Big Cat, he let the veterinarian, give him a shot and, take his temperature. They take that little thermometer and stick it in the little rear. He didn't even flinch, So he said, I can't guarantee anything, but, I'm attempted to flush him out, and hopefully, what happened to him, he'll get better. And it cost me $350, and I'm like, it's not a big deal when it comes to the money, because I want to make sure Big Cat is safe, That's why I tried to help get him off the streets, last summer, because I'm like, he's so friendly that I'm afraid that someone's going to just harm him, because he basically come to anybody. The mother cats be running and ducking. I'm like, and I totally understand, because Fear is a good thing. Fear will keep you safe. If you had no fear of anything, you'll walk in the street in the middle of the expressway and get ran over, you know? So we have these mechanisms, survival mechanisms that will keep us safe. And like I said, I was very, concerned about him because, when I look out in the yard and I see some cats that shouldn't be back there and they're feral and they're very dangerous, I come bolting out of my back door and they take off. And Big Cat would just sit there, because it's like he didn't know who was coming out that back door running. And still of, let me run first and then check later, say, okay, I'm okay. But my first reaction is, I don't know, let me run. He'd just sit there. So that's why I was very concerned about him, because anybody can approach him and do him some harm, which unfortunately is what happened. So, I took him home and they told me, try to keep him in today. And I kept him that night, but he has a son, looks just like him. And his son kept coming around looking for him, So that second day I said, I'm going to let him out because he wants to go out. And besides, unfortunately, probably the best place for him is somewhere in California, or Florida, where it's warm all year long. And he lives in somebody's, farmer's barn, because you can't keep him in the house. He smells really bad. I gave him a really good scrubbing when he came to, when I brought him in the house, because I used to joke with him. I said, I'm going to give you a good bath, buddy. You need a bath, you smell, so I took him in and I gave him a good bath. And then, for a moment, he smelled okay. And then like the next day, it was smelling again. And then I realized this, and I'm going to try to make this video, wrap it up. Then I realized this, that it's not just external, it's internal, because when he urinated in the big litter box, like I said, he could barely stand up. He's tilted over and almost knocked the litter box up. I'm like, we can't have you dropping stuff on the rug. It's how you smell. So his urine was extremely pungent. I mean, it's like skunk. And for those who smell skunk before, you know what I'm talking about. It's like, whoa, So I realized then that it's not just external, it's internal. When he took a bowel movement in that litter box, it stunk to high heaven. I was like, yeah, nobody would be able to take this cat in. Nobody could deal with that smell. Because I could smell him sometime when he outside in the house. That's how strong it is. Like, Big Cat must be around because I smell him. So I let him out the second day because, again, his little offspring was out there. The offspring was, when I cracked that back door, the offspring was looking and meowing. So I said, let me let him out so he can be with his son. That was 2 weeks ago. And Big Cat never be gone for that long. Usually he gone 2-3 days, four days at tops. And I was hoping he'd come back the next day because I'm like, let me give him this antibiotics, use it up so it can help his system. But he never came back, so it's safe to assume that he passed away. And what makes me even believe that even more, because once he kind of found his little offspring, they were inseparable. When you see the little cat, you see Big Cat. When you see Big Cat, you see little cat. Now the little cat comes around just about every day, and I haven't seen Big Cat. And the little cat did something that was kind of odd yesterday to me, because usually he's still kind of, shy because he is feral. So normally when I feed him, he can get out of here, but yesterday he hung around the entire day, and I cracked the back door open. And when I do that, Cotton wants to run up and, being nosy. Sometimes she want to go out or just sit in the screen door and look outside. And the little cat came and sat with us for a good 30 minutes, and he was looking around, and that let me know that he was looking for his father, and he was meowing, wouldn't leave. And today he was on my front porch, which he never does. And I looked up, he was on my windowsill, so he believed that Big Cat isn't here. And it's like, no, I haven't seen Big Cat in 2 days or 2 weeks. So it's just safe to assume that Big Cat passed away. I tried my best to help him and keep him alive because, like I said, he's the sweetest cat I've ever ran into. And it's just interesting, some of the ones you want to get rid of, because there's this one with black breast and paws. He's a menace. He's in my yard trying to screw the little kittens. I was like, no, because one of the kittens and the guy across the alleyway, that cat couldn't have been no more than several months old. And she got pregnant. I'm like, who's humping the kittens? I mean, this thing is not even half a year old yet, and it was the white paw cat. And I was like, after I found that out or figured that, I'm like, I don't ever want to see you in my yard, And my neighbor is on vacation right now, and my other neighbor is feeding his cats on the porch. And now, since the feeding is not that plentiful, I look up and see white paws trying to come in my yard. I'm like, oh no, you're not. I come running out my back door at full speed to get him out of there. I tried to catch him a couple last year, but I was unsuccessful because I was going to relocate him, but I hadn't been able to catch him, because I'm like, I don't want to do you any harm. I'm just going to give you a different address, send you to another town, far over so you won't be coming back, but I'm going to close off this video, wrap it up. But, it's sad that, that we don't all have a sense of compassion for each one of us on this planet, creatures, humans, animals, humans, and I'm going to miss Big Cat because, he was a joy to be around. I look forward to seeing him when I would see him. One day I got out of my car and he was down the street. He came a whole block because he spotted me. And we both kind of running towards each other. I'm rubbing his little head. And then he has this thing where he lays down and want to roll over and I rub his little belly, But I just thought I would give you guys an update on this, for those who care and have a soft spot in their heart for animals too, that it's most likely that Big Cat is no longer with us, But I tried my best, I tried my best to try to keep him alive. Till next time, take care and thanks for listening. Take care.